The first thing the students learned about Myra Hale was that she did not fight back. The second thing they learned was that she did not cry. Myra was the only human at Cathari Prime Academy. The Cathari were tall and silver-scaled with narrow eyes and long fingers made for delicate machines. The Vesh were thick-skinned and heavy-boned, with horns that curved back like crescent moons. The Arathi shimmered like living glass, with veins of blue light under their skin. And then there was Myra. Soft skin, round eyes, dark hair tied behind her head, small hands, small frame. A species known across the spiral for surviving wars they should not have survived. But in the halls of the academy she was only a girl. Alone they began with words, fragile prey. Short-lived soft blood, they would circle her locker and flick her books from her hands. They would stand too close and breathe through slitted teeth. They would mimic her walk and laugh at the way her feet struck the floor. Myra would bend, pick up her books, and walk away. She never answered that silence bothered them more than fear would have them. The fourth rotation of the term, they pushed harder. Krith of the Vesh blocked her path in the transit corridor. He was nearly twice her mass. His shadow swallowed her. You should not be here, he said. This school is for strong species. Myra looked at him. Her face was calm. She stepped to the side. He stepped with her. The other students gathered. The Arathi flickered with excitement. The Cathari recorded with their wrist. Screenscrith pushed her shoulder. She hit the wall. A small sound left her lung still. She did not speak at her again. Someone called, so he did. Her lip split red, slid down her chin. Hall grew quiet. Was not common among them. Cathari blood was pale. Silvervesh blood was dark green. Arathi blood glowed. Blue human blood was brightly. Myra touched her mouth. She looked at her fingers, then she looked at Kreth. There was something in her eyes, then not Fernat. Anger, something older. She walked away. The next day she returned with a small figure at her side. The cub was human barely to Myra, waist hair, wild eyes too sharp for his age. His name was Tomi Hale, her brother. He had been transferred from a frontier colony after their parents were lost in a mining collapse. The academy had allowed him early entry into the lower preparatory wing. He clung to Myra's sleeve at first. The bullies laughed. You brought a hatchling, they jeered. Will he bite? Myra said nothing. She led Tomi through the halls. But children notice everything. They notice the way others move. They notice tones. They notice threats. In the second rotation, Tomi saw Kreth shove his sister again. This time Myra stumbled to her knees. Bruise bloomed along her cheek. Tomi froze. His small hands tightened. Hall filled with laughter. Krith leaned down. You bleed easy, he said. The cub should see what happens to weak blood. He raised his hand. Didn't never felt something move too fast for most eyes. Later the Cathari recordings would show it, frame by frame. Tomi had stepped forward. He had taken the metal stylus from a nearby study desk. He had driven it upward with both hands. The stylus slipped beneath Kreth's jaw, where the scales were thin. Green blood sprayed across the white floor. Kreth roared. He staggered back to me. Did not stop. He moved again, small, precise, brutal. He struck the nerve cluster at the base of the horn. Krith collapsed. The hall went silent. The Arathi lights dimmed in shock. The Cathari screens lowered. Myra stared at her brother. Green blood dripped from the stylus, some of it mixed with red on Tomi's hands. He stood over Kreth, chest breathing hard. His face was calm, more calm than Myra had ever been anyone else. He said, his voice was clear, not loud. Just clear. Anyone else want to see how soft we are? No one moved. The teachers arrived moments later. Security fields flared. Medical drones descended. Krith lived. The wound was deep, but not fatal. The Academy Council convened. That same cycle. Humans were known for violence in war, not in classrooms. The council called Myra and Tomi before them. The chamber was vast, circular, lit by cold white beams, Headmaster Selkith of the Cathari studied the two humans. "Why did you bring your brother into conflict?" he asked. Mira shook her head. "Did Noth follow Edself?" Turned to Tomi. "Why did you attack me?" Looked at the council because he was going to break Hurt the Vesh representative Histu could have killed him. Tomi not a jest. The word hung in the air. Selkoth folded his long fingers. "Humans, our guests here. Guests must follow order." Tomi tilted his head. "We do when someone bigger hurts someone smaller, we stop them." The chamber shifted. The Arothi lights pulsed in uneasy pattern. Selkith reviewed the corridor recordings again, and again he saw. Krethshav saw, Mira Fall saw, the raised hand saw the speed of the cub. He also saw something else. He saw the other students laughing, encouraging, recording, none of them stepping forward. Self addressed the council. "Strength is not mass strength, is not scale strength, is choice." The Vesh representative objected. "The cub used lethal forces." Selkith replied. "The Vesh student initiated repeated aggression. The human cub responded with targeted defense, precise and efficient." The chamber fell silent finally. Selkith made his ruling. Krith would be suspended for us. Recording students would receive disciplinary marks. Human cub would attend mandatory control. Training no, expulsion no, charges. The council dispersed outside the chamber. The hallways felt different. Students watched the humans with new eyes, not mock. Laughing, calculating. Mira walked with Tomi beside her. She looked down at him. "You could have waited for a teacher," she said. He shrugged. "He would have hit you." "Yes." She paused. "You were not afraid." Tomi glanced at his hands. They were clean now, the blood washed away was, he said. "But being afraid is not the same as being still." Mira felt something tighten in her chest. She had chosen stillness. She had believed endurance was strength. Tomi had chosen motion. Both were human. Word spread beyond the academy, across Cathari, prime, across nearby systems. The story changed, as stories do. Some said the cub tore a Vesh apart with his bare hands. Some said humans were born with battle instincts that never slept. Military observers took interest. Diplomats requested reports. But inside the academy something simpler happened. The bullying stopped, not because of fear alone, but because of understanding. The students had seen a line. They had seen what happened when it was crossed. Weeks passed. Krith returned with a scar beneath his jaw. He did not meet Myra's eyes. He did not speak to Tomi. One afternoon in the training yard, Selkith approached the human siblings. He watched Tomi practice controlled strikes against a hollow target. Precise, measured. "Kamur species has a reputation," he said. Answered. "So do your." Selkith inclined his head. "Reputations are shadows of old light. Sometimes they blind." Yuj looked at Tomi. "You defended your kin. That is honorably. You must also learn restraint." Tomi nodded. "I will." Selkith turned to Myrand. "Why did you endure?" Myra thought for a long moment. "Because I wanted to prove we belong without becoming what they fear." Selkith regarded her carefully. "Belonging does not require silence." Words stayed with her later. That term a new student arrived. A small Arothi, whose light flickered with nervous pulses. He was mocked for his unstable glomera. Saw the circle forming, heard the laughter. Starting this time she did not walk away. She stepped into the space. "Enough," she said. Her voice did not shake the hall. Still the students remembered the red and green on the white floor. They remembered the cub standing calm with blood on his hands. Sorkul broke. The Arothi looked at her with wide, luminous eyes. "Thank you," he whispered. Mira smiled behind her. Tomi watched, ready, eager, just ready. The academy changed slowly, not into a place without conflict, but into a place where strength was measured differently, where the smallest figure in the corridor might carry the fiercest will, where silence was no longer mistaken for weakness, and where everyone remembered the day a human cub spoke without raising his voice, spoke with blood on his hands, spoke for his sister, spoke for himself, spoke for every being who had ever been pushed against a wall and told they did not belong. The end, the story that traveled the spiral, was simple. Do not mistake quiet for helpless, do not mistake small for weak, and never corner a human who has someone to protect. Asterisk.